Hi guys, welcome to my segment on mini quads. This is my first blog, so I hope this works out pretty good. Today we're going to be talking about mini quads. I know there's a lot of quads out there, the mini whoops and so on. Lately I've been trying out different types of quads for indoor flying since the weather has been getting crappy. Today we're going to be talking about some of the Eaching quads out and the Smart 100s, the carbon fiber frames. We're going to talk a little bit about each one and what you're really looking for. So let me jump right into where we're going to start at. All right. What I've done here is ordered a couple of these cheap quads. I got some that are builder's kits, some that are ready to fly, some that needs receivers. And I kind of rate each one, what I think about them, and what you may be looking for. Let's start right off with this Eaching model, the Turbine QX. I think they call this, it's a 70 millimeter quad. Now, a little different about some of these micro whoop quads that's going on out there is that you really need to pay attention to. This one in particular is a little bit bigger. I ordered this one on eBay, and it come with a great manual to how to set it up, all the way to setting up from setting up the software that was called for it, from beta flight to clean flight. It came with a little tool for removing the props, a cable for plugging it in. I had this little tiny JST type connection to micro. It was okay. I found it a little bit hard to plug it in. And then some props. It came with, I think, 4 sets of props. Alright, this quad was great right out of the box. It took me a little bit to get it set up on clean flight, but nothing no more. It is S-Bus. So unlike some other setups, and like you've been hearing about the B-Brain flight board, this is an S-Bus connection. So keep that in mind. And then I ordered this Smart 100. Now this quad came, it's ready to go with camera and all. This was $45. The only downfall about it is that it doesn't have a receiver in it. So you do got to go out and buy a micro receiver. Now everything is separate, from the camera to the TX that on it, and then a flight board. It is a quite nice little package. I like the way how the how the battery straps on. It's a little rubber band. It's got a little cushion on the bottom, and it's a nice little package. Out of both of these quads, now when you're looking at quads, you need to think about what you're going to be getting. Both of them take a 550 milliamp battery pack, I believe. I think that's what's on this. Yes, 550. Okay. Unlike the micro whoop that takes those little batteries, this takes a little bit bigger battery. Both of them had the 8mm motors, which is superb. Definitely for getting out of the quick drops. This is a great flying quad. So both of them are really good quads, except this one's a little bit heavier, and this one, I don't know, it's light. But there's some differences, and I'm going to explain to you about that. Now, about the custom build, I did order this custom frame back this summer. I'm finally getting around to building it. I have put the B-Brain flight board that's tucked up underneath of it. The only problem with this B-Brain flight board is that the USB plug is underneath this foam that I've got to take off to get to the flight controller. So I stuck that on there so I can strap the battery to. That's my only downfall about that. Now, as far as motors, this is an 8mm motor. The 8mm motor, this is what they call the blackout edition, a lot more advanced. I guess it has a better brushed system on the inside, and they last a lot longer. Unlike this one here, these are stock 8mm motors, and they're good, but get me wrong, they're only good for about 3 to 4 hours. But you got to realize that's a lot of flying time. Both of these have stock motors. The custom build has the blackout edition, and I'm going to tell you, this thing rips it. This thing is fast. So you got to think about what you're wanting to build or where you want to fly. Now, this one will get around the house, and so does this one, gets around the house fairly decent. You just got to be super careful, especially this one. This is the throttle is very punchy. You can run into the ceiling very quick. It flips and rolls really quick. So you got to watch out. These two models, I don't say they're just quite as good as this one. For the one fact is that if you're trying to do real close proximity flying, close around things, you're probably going to want this. This has a super stable platform. I didn't have to do anything. I just pulled it out of the box, plugged it in, no PID tuning, no nothing. Therefore this, I did a lot of PID tuning, and I even tried to match the PIDs from that one to this one. It just didn't match up. I don't know, from flight board to flight board, there's some different stuff. Maybe different types of gyros, I don't know. Same thing with this. This comes with stock settings. I did play with it a little bit to get it dialed in. I do like the dipode antenna versus to the cloverleaf antennas. It's a lot more forgiving, but out of all of it, what you may be looking for, if you're going to be doing some indoor flying, order this guy right here. This is the thing. Frames are cheap. It takes an 850mm battery, which I can probably get 10 laps or more around the house. This thing really does its stuff for closeness. I couldn't ask for anything any better for indoor flying. This is really what you may be looking for as indoor flying. Now, as far as you guys may be doing micro quad racing, as far as setting up a track inside of a gym or something in that nature, then these guys, definitely these guys. These are just a little bit too fast. I mean, this thing may rock on 35, 40 mile an hour top speed. This thing is not slow. And you got to kind of think about what you're going to be buying or what you're going to be using it for. Because with some of these Chinese quads, I see a lot on the market and what's the best. No one's really saying, hey, what's the best for where you're going to fly? And for me, it's this guy. If I'm going to fly this in my house, this is what I want. This thing is great. And I noticed something else that makes a big difference. You could see down inside there on this fan guard, there's angles in here that help direct your flow a little different. And I don't know if that really technically makes a lot of difference, but apparently it does. This thing is great. For 45 bucks, pull it out of the box, comes with the battery. You don't have to do anything. You are whooping around the house. This thing is just a tad bit bigger than those little whoops that are out there, so it just has a bigger battery in it, and it's got a little bit bigger fan on it with 8mm motors. This is really, really great. Now I hear about All-Body putting supports in here to keep it from being flexed. I think you're just adding weight. And then when you stiffen it all up, you're asking for a recipe for disaster. It's going to hit something and it's going to blow apart. I preferably to have my quad get done when I get done, even though I crash. Just pick it back up, and I'm not worried about that little bit of performance. Also on this quad, it does have a little bit of LED lights, and they flash when you're backing up and you're turning rights and lefts and all the other goodies. Those show up different, and I think that's really cool. It probably does take a little bit more out of the battery, but Nah, I'm having a great time with it. This thing is, I recommend this 100% for indoor flying. Now I've got another micro whoop quad. Did not find it very impressive. Had 7mm motors. They were cheap, and I paid a lot of money for an overpriced toy. This, I can say, I don't even know what kind of flight board's down in these things. Looking on the box, didn't say, but it's really good. It, as far as putting it up, setting up your